Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for another Seed of Success. I've got my fabulous co-host with me here, Dottie San Martin. Hi, Dottie.
Hello.
And I'm Jay Nephew, by the way. You posed a good question. The title of this seed is, are your monitors costing you money? And that's kind of strange to think that. Like, what do you mean? Like, does it take a lot of energy to run the monitors? Like, I don't understand what you meant. But we had this conversation. And Dottie, why don't you explain to our audience what you mean by, are you asking that kind of open-ended question there?
Well, Jay, thank you. I'll be happy to do that. There's actually a couple of different ways that your monitors can really benefit you. Obviously, they keep, they're a beautiful background for the scores for your customers, but
they're a necessary evil. You have to have them.
That's right, but they also have other purposes as well. And one of those purposes is the later scoring systems gives you the ability to have high definition advertising up on your monitors.
Right.
And, it's very, very appealing, especially to local businesses that are looking for a somewhat inexpensive way to reach, new customers. And it's an impressive thing. You've got a very captive audience, and they naturally look up when they see movement on the monitors and they read them. So, to take your monitors and come up with a program, be it, you get quarterly advertisers or monthly advertisers, or maybe you take annual advertisers, and you have a set fee for them to advertise in your center, is absolutely money in your register.
It is, and it's like, it doesn't cost you hardly anything to do that. I mean, there are some hard costs associated with that, with your time, but
Sure.
from a resource perspective, there's no charge to create a graphic and add that to your system. And I want to point out, like, it's very common to walk into, especially a traditional based bowling center, and find sweep ads. We used to make the sweep ads and put them on the sweeps, or I've seen them done on on a Brunswick A2 on the Shield. I've seen them done there. And then, of course, the ones that I really personally don't like is when they take a banner and put that over the masking units, and it kind of looks a little bit like, I don't know, messy to me.
Well, it dates you.
It does
definitely
date you.
dates you. And this is today's way to offer advertising. This is what local businesses are looking for. They're looking for good quality advertising at a reasonable price. The one thing that I want to mention, though, is when you're doing this, and as Jay, as you said, it doesn't take a lot of time to design, a high definition, a 1280 by 720 pixel. We pop these out all the time for our customers. Right. But the one thing that I want to warn is, if you are going to get into an advertising program and offer these ads to your customers, make sure that you are creating these ads in the right aspect ratio and that they are professionally designed. If you don't have those skills, I'm sure that you can find someone locally, or sometimes the person purchasing the advertising has something.
They've got it ready, or they'll know how to give you what you ask for. You tell them
right.
It needs to be in this size, it needs to be in this format, JPEG, PNG, whatever it may be, and no larger than X number of megabytes, right? But yeah. I want to say this. You bring up a good point about making sure the aspect ratio is right. The biggest pet peeve I have when I see people who use graphics and they're not, you can tell they just don't do it often. They'll put a logo on and they'll be like, well, I need to fill the screen, and they'll grab a corner and they'll stretch it. Well, now the logo is like, but they don't see it quite like that because it's not their logo maybe. So when you place a logo, when you place an item in almost any Windows program, if you hold down the Shift key, when you grab a corner, just a corner, you can stretch it to the same aspect ratio. So you push Shift, you click on the corner and start dragging, and it'll make sure it keeps the same aspect ratio. That's just a little trick. But now that goes back to the whole point of, if you're going to have this kind of program, make sure you've got standards in line, put a little template together. It's easy to do, and put your requirements out there. So what can you advertise in here? we already talked about this, neighborhood businesses, even better than just what, so-and-so does car repair. What about a little video ad? Because some of these systems have the ability to play video also. So you could even take someone's 15 or 30-second commercial and use it, possibly.
And Jay, first of all, I want to go back and mention one other thing while we're talking about logos and images. The other thing to be mindful of is that you have the right to use that image. So be careful with that. But along those lines of a video, that's also another great way, to utilize your monitors. Speaking of utilizing the monitors, we're talking about money going into your register as a result of using your monitors for advertising purposes. But another thing that you can use those monitors for is you can use them as a bartering tool.
Right.
So if you want to offer advertising in return for your carpets being cleaned, that's something that you have that can certainly be leveraged. The other thing that you can do with your monitors is offer your leagues the ability to have their sponsors have advertising on your monitors. And that's very attractive. It's another way for you to, bring in money by bringing in more leagues, because now they have something to give back to the sponsor
right.
in return for sponsorship. So certainly keep that in mind. And the other thing I want to mention, Jay, is, when you're starting to get into this, and you set up a program where you offer advertising in return for dollars or sponsorship, keep in mind that you can pull reports from your system, especially Conquer has some reports where it'll show you the number of bowlers that you have, the number of customers you have.
In a time frame window, right?
Right,
so
but
if
keep
I were
in mind, that's just at a minimum, because
that's the customers that we're bowling.
Yeah.
But so as a marketer and as an advertising specialist, we know that it's all about impressions. When you sell advertising, people want to know, how many impressions am I getting for this, whether it's digital, whether it's print, whatever it may be. And you are in a very unique position in a bowling center, because you deliver tens and hundreds of thousands of impressions in any given month's time. And if you're not sure about that, like Dottie said, and you have Conqueror, you go run a customer report from, January 1 to January 30th of last year, and you look at how many customers you had, and then add on visitors and guests to your building, you'll have 20,000 in a blink of an eye on any given center. So to say to someone, I can put your message in front of 20,000 impressions this month alone, that might be worth $100 to me. I might pay you $1,000 to be on a yearly plan. Imagine that. There's no limit. It's not like the rate drop. It's not like people only see it when lane 27 is turned on. They can see it anytime. So it's higher value, higher content, and higher number of impressions for the advertiser. It's what we all want.
And the other thing, Jay, that we need to remember is we need to utilize our monitors also to promote internally. So to promote the programs and promotions that we have going on, to promote other parts of our building, be it our restaurant or our laser tag, that also drives traffic, which, that is the same as money in your register. So we want to make sure that we're really fully utilizing the monitors. Another way that, we had talked a little bit about this earlier, and I said, well, money also can be goodwill towards your customers, and giving that customer that feeling and securing them as a loyal customer, driving that loyalty with the customer. And you can do that by the messages that you put up, be it thanks for serving on Veterans Day, or Happy New Year, or
proudly celebrating Martin Luther King Day, whatever it may be. There are a lot of opportunities with a holiday type environment, or with specific, Secretary's Day or healthcare workers, health workers Day, to show your support for them. And that's very important. We have a lot of customers that do a very good job with internal marketing. So they will put a monitor ad up for their new league. They will put a monitor ad up for the new loaded tater tots at the snack bar with a really enticing picture, which I always order and I shouldn't. But anyway, so it does work. But you should think about it in a much broader statement now and say, if I'm already familiar with it and I'm doing it this way, what else can I do with that? How else can it be of value to me and to my audience?
Yes, absolutely. And Jay, I'm going to go one step further with one more thing that you can use your monitors for. And that is, depending on the time of year it is, you can run promotions. So for example, graduation. So you can have a 1-month period where people can purchase a monitor ad to honor their graduate.
Sure.
You can do it at Mother's Day. You can do it at Father's Day. You can do it for a number of different occasions where you run a period of time that they can buy an ad and they can showcase their person. And so what you'll find is that people come in and they take pictures of those ads and they post them. It becomes a tool for you also for additional advertising. So, but people are willing to pay to have that opportunity to feature their person graduating or their mother that they're wanting to honor on the screens like that. It's quite an honor to be able to do that. So don't forget to use them for those type things.
And remember, if it looks good on your screen when you're done creating, it's going to look good up there. Unlike print advertising, right? We know print, you have to have certain types of files. They have to be large in size so that they can be replicated at any size frame. Digital's doesn't work that way. If you see on your screen when you're done creating that ad and it looks really good to you, it's going to look really good up there. There's going to be no difference. But
Jay, let's take that one more step.
Okay.
Go check it. Physically look at it with your own eyes. Don't just send it out and not check it, because you never know. And
that's true.
It would probably be a good idea to grab one of the employees as you go down to check it and say, hey, take a look at this and let's make sure it looks okay.
Yeah.
So, that's just a good rule of thumb for anything that you create.
Of course.
Out in the public like that.
You've given us some really good ideas on how we not only can increase some revenue if that's our goal, is to make a few more dollars from this. Great. Maybe I can also make a few more dollars and have a more engaged audience. Maybe I can build relationships with my community because I know these people that bowl at my bowling center, and she owns a salon and he is a mechanic and they have a carpet store. So guess what? They're my customers already, but I want to be of value to them as well as an entertainment spot. What a great way to go over and say, hey, Jane, let's get your beauty shop up here on the thing, your salon. Let's get that up there. Let's do that for you,
And Jay, it doesn't, if you choose to start a program like this, keep in mind that, like we said earlier, you can use that monitor ad in return for something else. So
right.
If you've got employees right now that are bummed out, their hours have been cut or whatever due to the pandemic, think about it. Can I offer a monitor ad for this restaurant down the street and get them some good advertising and get a few dinners for two for my employees?
Right, and pass those out.
It's absolutely endless. The more you start to think, the more your mind says, oh, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about this?
Go listen to the barter one we did a little while ago.
Absolutely.
Barter and have seeds of success, because then you're going to be like, oh, it's all back together. I can do anything with it. So
absolutely.
You can get a brand new car from your monitor ads if that's your goal.
Hey, the sky's the limit. If you
that's
can think
for sure.
make it happen. So,
that's for sure.
Well, Jay, this has been another fun one. When we get together, we try really hard to keep these little seeds, short. We want a seed, not a whole tree.
Yeah, that's true.
But sometimes we get really excited, and this is one of those topics that I get really excited about because, especially right now with the pandemic, there's so many local businesses that are looking for ways to bring in new customers, and every one of us is looking for ways to bring in more money. And this is one of those things that sometimes it's just not top of mind how much value those monitors really are to us. So I hope that our little seed today has got everybody that watches us thinking about, well, golly, what else can I do to get my monitors working for me?
Yes, and we will be back with you with another Seed of Success real soon. And until then, I'm going to sign off and say goodbye from me, Dottie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody have a wonderful day and stay safe and stay well and grow that seed.